Well, it's day 6 of the 2025 tournament. I'm Mike Mandell, sports reporter for the Kennebec Journal-Morning Sentinel, alongside Karen Magnusson, coach of the Marinicook girls team and the announcer for the state championship games on Maine Public. Karen, just last night we were here while the Messalonskee and Camden Hills boys were warming up. What a treat we got. Nolan Ames exploded for 20 points. What a game that was. What can we say about this Messalonskee team? Obviously, Nolan Ames had his night, but to lose Merrick Smith, one of the best defensive players and shot blockers in the state, to lose Sam Doobie, a great shooter, and be back with a better record than last year in the Class A North title game.
Yeah, I think that says something about how Coach Smith has been, working his team and being able to get them to where they're at. Watching him play, watching him coach, I feel like he's just very calm. Like, I was trying to go back and watch the fourth quarter and just watch what he does. And there'd be he's clapping and he gets down on one knee and you can see him thinking things through and he's telling his team what to do and they just play so poised. And it showed, and I think that's why they could pull out a big win like they did. Coach Smith has done a great job working with his youth. He's been invested starting with a young group all the way up. So I don't think we're only going to see success from this program just these last couple of years. I think it's going to be something we're going to see for future years.
And we're in the middle of Class C South Day right now. Earlier, we said the Halldale girls and the Madison girls advanced to the Southern Maine Championship game in Class C. Karen, these are MVC teams. You've coached against these teams. What do you like about them, and what can people expect in the regional championship game?
Yeah, so you watch Halldale today. Not many weaknesses, right? Jade Graham can play with their back to the basket. They can score inside. You have Gray and others that can shoot outside. You have Gibbons, who can be a slasher. They just have so many parts. And then defensively, they looked fantastic. And following behind what Tori Tibbetts does for them, there's not that many weaknesses. And then you look at Madison. One, I love their defense. I think their intensity starts with Reagan Cowan. It was funny watching the game. Every time somebody was bringing it up on her, I'm like, oh, get rid of it, and then boom, Cowan makes the play. I think there was like 4 plays in a row that either they got called for charges, or she got steals. Like, she just can change games with her defense. So I look at Madison thinking, defensively, they're going to be a great matchup against Halldale, and can Halldale handle that? But also, for Madison, I think they have a couple kids that have to show up offensively. And I look at, they have Robbins, who I think can shoot it. And when she gets going, she's not going to miss many. And then another thing for them is Liz Kelly has come on real strong this year, and specifically since like the second half. So if they need the ball in their hands. They need to make sure that some of their best players are taking a lot of their shots. And I think it could be a really interesting matchup.
And the winner of that game is going to face the winner of C North, which, let's face it, has a good chance of being Penobscot Valley. Ellie Austin's going to Huston. You've got Riley Moulton, who scored 34 today. This is a team, they beat a Central team that is no slouch by 50. They beat Callis, who was 16-4 by 60. Nate Case is an interesting coach who I feel like a lot of coaches tend to coach a system. Coach Case seems to really find a way to coach a style that fits his players the best. What can you say about this team, and what impresses you about them?
Yeah, so I was able to watch them a little bit today, and I'm excited to see when they have matched up against somebody that can keep that game a little bit closer. I want to see that grit and that determination come out in them. And watching them, they play a lot of different defenses. So they're able to change the pace of the game. And so if they go up against someone that's trying to stall, that's going to be really hard to do. They're going to want to play up and down. So if you're talking about what could a state final look like, Penobscot with Halldale or Madison, I feel like that would be a really interesting matchup, because I would just love to see teams go at it that they're both tenacious defensively and teams that really want to try to get going.
Let's go down south to Portland, where we had one upset, first of all, today. Edward Little with a 47-44 win over Cheverus. And then also on the girls' side, Oxford Hills clinches its 9th consecutive regional title.
That's crazy.
I've been covering Maine high school basketball for 9 years, and every year they've been in the final. Ella Pelletier, a Miss Maine basketball semifinalist, who has a good chance to win it. What impresses you about them?
Well, Ella Pelletier, she is phenomenal. Like, she's so tough to defend. She can play any position. She can post up, she can shoot logo threes, she can handle the ball. What I love about her is how well she involves other people on her team. She's able to get other people involved, and it's not just, I'm going to do it all offensively. She does it on the defensive end, she rebounds. She's just a complete player that makes everyone around her compete well. And the other thing, I love watching great players be incredible leaders. If you have a chance to just watch her play and just strictly just watch her movements, how she engages with her teammates, it's constant communication, it's high fives, it's telling people to shoot the ball. She's a great leader. Anybody would love to coach her.
There's a lot more to basketball than just the skills, and that's where players like Ella Pelletier come in. Now let's go from the biggest class to the smallest. Let's talk some Class D. We have Valley and St. Dom's in both the boys and the girls matchups in D South. I've had a chance to cover Valley boys this year. Fisher, Tewksbury, and Harry Lewis. You don't often see 2,000-point scorers get it in the same game as teammates, which they both did last year. Hunter Mills and Levi Short can also play. St. Dom's, led by John Brock as well. And then on the girls' side, just yesterday, you were talking to me about some of the 8th graders. How about Kara Farrington scoring 21 points to lead the Saints to a D South final?
Another rookie, another 8th grader that I love watching young talent come in and step on the biggest stage and play some of their best basketball, because then it makes you buy into them. You're like, wow, they're already that good right now. I can't wait to see what's going to happen the next 4 years. So they're a lot of fun to watch. But the same thing with Valley, right? You have Leanna Hartwell, who was an 8th grader last year, a freshman this year, and she's a stud player that you enjoy watching. But Valley's just they're just well-rounded. So many parts to that team that's fun to watch. So it'll be interesting, this matchup.
Now, you've coached at 3 different schools. You've played tournament. You've coached tournament games at
all 3 venues.
All 3 venues. What's your favorite? Is there anyone that's tougher to coach than the others, or is it pretty much all the same when you're on the court?
No, it's pretty much. I mean, when you get on the court, it's the same size, right? So I wouldn't say the venues are any different that way. I think there's differences to all of them. The expo is smaller, so the energy of the expo for smaller schools is amazing because you don't need that many people to make it loud. You've got the arenas that are a little bit bigger, and you kind of feel like you're on a huge stage because you're set in and you've got all these lights shining in on you. My favorite's the ACC, only because I feel like growing up and seeing so much basketball, being around this area, coached here quite a few years on this area. But the one thing, any venue I've ever gone to, it's fun seeing the people that work there because there's so many familiar faces, and it's fun just to be able to check in with them because you usually see them once a year, and it's around this time. So it's really great to be able to catch up with a lot of the people.
Now let's wrap up. We talk about coaches. I mentioned Sam Smith. What are some other coaches that have really put in work that stood out to you over not just this tournament, but in recent tournaments?
You know, I'm a huge fan of Hamden's Coach Bartlett. Russ Bartlett has always ran a good program. I love watching how he coaches. He's so poised, but I love how he handles and manages a game. If you watch their teams, they are able to go do what he wants without him always having to direct. And he has great sets. I love watching some of the offensive schemes that he puts out there. But every year he has his team playing great basketball at this time, and they always look so confident. So he's one of my favorites to watch every time around this special time.
We have the first of our regional championships held out tomorrow. Nets to cut down, plaques to be handed out, and then gold balls next week. Should be a fun one. For Mike Mandell, this is Karen Magnusson, and we'll see you guys next time.